Hey everybody, it's Jake, and today I'm just painting to paint. There's nothing specific about this video. There's no plan going into it. In fact, I'm kind of just spitballing what I'm saying here too, and I'm going to try my best to do this in one take. So what I got here is a Warcaster models from the Eternus Continuum line. I forget the exact name of this jack, but it's one of the heavies. This isn't oil paints, and right now I'm putting down some purple, and then I'm going to highlight that up to white, just to get some definition on these little cables and the cracks and crevices. This is the third time I tried painting these models, and I didn't like the way they came out the first couple times. And so I put them away for quite a long time and just didn't look at them at all. And I pulled them out the other day because I have a bunch of stuff that I have to get through that's just been sitting on my desk and sitting in storage that I wanted to paint. And it was a perfect opportunity to just kind of sit back and just paint. Don't think about anything, just put some colors down and just paint, because sometimes that is more beneficial than planning everything out and working yourself up to this big grand finale of a paint job. Maybe it's better, not all the time, but sometimes maybe it's better if you just do it without knowing what you're going to do. I think exploring that great unknown and letting your skills take over. Oh shit, they can't see. Oh man. But anyway, I think letting your skills take over sometimes is a good way to actually hone in on your skills, because you're doing stuff off of instinct rather than having it planned out and knowing the exact ratios of all the paint you need and all the different colors that you're going to put down and when exactly you're going to layer them. Sometimes it's just beneficial to just paint and just put stuff down and freeball the whole time with no plan and do whatever. Like, what did I gain from this? What did I gain? Well, first of all, everybody always says you can't paint oil paints over black. That's a load of bullshit. As you can see, these are primed in black. They've been primed in black for almost 3-4 months now. And everything that I put on there, even the reds, even the yellows, they went on just fine. There's nothing special about it. I built them up until I got to the color where I want it, and they look good. And then this blue color, I loved it. It's just phthalo blue and white. It's just a gradient. It's nothing special. There's nothing hard about this. And they look vibrant. I'm looking at them sitting next to me. The only thing that I can think of that's wrong with these models as compared to if I was to paint them over a white primer is that they're not as vibrant, but they're just as vibrant as pretty much everything else that I painted, if that makes sense. I mean, I have pictures afterwards, and they've been sitting here for about a week now, I think. And so they're pretty dry. I don't really... Is anything coming off? Nothing's really coming off when I put my hand on it, which is unlike these stupid square models over here. Some of this... Oh no, it's not the square model. It's this Warcaster. It's still wiping off red. It's been sitting here for 2 weeks. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But anyways... Yeah, here I'm just... a whole lot of this model was putting down blue, and you get a dark shade of blue and then a lighter shade of blue and then mixing them together to get a nice little gradient. And there's a whole lot of that. And there's nothing too hard. Nothing that was like back-breaking, excruciating. It's you know what I think it is? It's like the first time you play a boss level, or if you're like in the horror video games and the first time you play a level and scares the shit out of you, it is really scary. You don't want to do it. You just kind of look at it and you're like, oh no, that's too much for me. Which is me. I'm a big pussy when it comes to scary video games. I don't play scary video games. But the one time I did, Subnautica, shout out to that game, greatest game ever. The more and more you do it, the less scary it becomes. And I think sometimes when you're painting, especially if you're just painting without a purpose, you can let your skills take over and it's not scary. Like, there's nothing scary about anything I did. And I think for a lot of people, just not having a guide or some type of like representation of what you're painting is scary. And that's why I think, again, this is the third time I tried to paint these models, and this time was such a breeze because, to be frank, there really isn't a guide to paint these models anywhere online. They're pretty new. Like, I think they're less than a year old, like being sculpt wise, and painting without a reference is hard if you don't know what you're doing. But if you do something over and over and over again, you don't need a reference. And finally, I felt like, dude, if I just look at these models and put color down, I will get them done. And that's the biggest reason why sometimes painting without a purpose is the way to go. Because if you just want to get something done, that's the way to do it too. And it was so freeing to just sit there and paint these models. Ooh, watch out, Leo. Sorry, dog. I almost ran my dog over. But it was so freeing to just sit there and paint these models that, like, I was having so much more fun than if I had planned this out. It was literally like I was just sitting here like doo doo doo, paint the models, boop boo doo, cynics on, boop boo doo. This is fun. And sometimes you get away from that when you're really planning stuff out. Like, especially since I've been making videos, everything has been like, oh, I have to do this at this perfect timing, and I have to get this in perfect view of the camera, and I have these models set aside for next week's video. And this was like, nah, dog, just sit down and paint, man. Just fucking paint. Just take your time, have fun with it, be the master you know you can be. I'm nowhere close to a master. I've only been painting for about 5 years. And I think that's another thing too, is you watch all these videos sometimes and you're like, well, I want to paint exactly like Angel Giraldez or Marco Frazzoni or Vince Venturella, and none of us are those dudes. I mean, maybe you are a master painter and you stumbled upon this video, and I don't have advice for you. You can click off. You don't even have to subscribe. You can just listen to my ramblings and then be like, this dude don't know what he talking about. But for the majority of us, most of my painting's shit. Most of my lighting is off. Most of the shading is off. It could be better. And I'm working on being better. But sometimes I just want to put paint on a model and futz around and do whatever I want to do. And that's why I'm not even giving instructions on how to paint this model. I'm just kind of like, just do it. Practice makes perfect. And every time I was a part of something organized where we had to perform at the end, they always pushed that practice is going to be the hardest thing you do, and game time is going to be so easy. So just practice, which is like the very first video I made. And sometimes just paint without a purpose. Practice without a purpose. Paint just to paint. That's all I got to say. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe my videos. I'll see you next week.